So Andy, describe your nirvana for the bank in this new marketing world.
So for us, it would be moving to a one-to-one marketing, more relationship-driven model than the old transactional style, product-led driven model that advertisers have been in since the beginning of advertising. Rather than pushing out product-led, mass-driven messaging that's really targeted to appeal to everyone to some regard and a little bit more to the key target market, really honing in on the consumer need state and focusing on what this audience needs at that given moment. Still have an umbrella brand message that's pushing out to the masses so that we're telling our brand story. But then when it comes down to each different audience group, we can deliver to individuals within them messages that are relevant and resonate to them. So if you're in a stage of your life where you're looking for a new credit card, we can present to you options and solutions for credit card products. But if you already have a credit card with Bank of America and you're just recently married and are looking for a home loan, we can provide different home loans and mortgage solutions for you. And in that case, when we really know more about the customer and can present them with the most relevant information at the given time of when they need it, to me, that is going to be the most effective, and that's where everybody is going to win. And that's when we move to truly having conversational relationships with our consumers rather than just being a bank who's providing them products.
So I'm assuming you've been doing this for quite some time in more digital, online, and mobile media, but you now have some experience, about a year worth of experience in advanced TV and addressable television. Tell me what you see as the opportunity.
I think there's a ton of opportunity in the space, and I think we've really just cracked the surface on it by launching our first campaign there. And we're working on one, possibly two additional addressable campaigns. It'll be in a very similar vein to what we did the first time. But as the technology evolves in the addressable space itself, where the footprint gets larger and where we're able to more seamlessly activate and market, there's other elements that we can look at within that tie back to the one-to-one that we were just speaking about, where we can actually start to drive sequential messaging in the addressable space. And we start to understand, and we can actually have more dynamic segmentation, where we can actually have one group that's in a segment for investing products, but they may be in a different segment for card. And when the opportunities are correct, we may hit them with an investing message, but then we may also come back and also present them with a card solution at the same time.
So you're in a class of advertisers that is fortunate enough to have their own first-party data. Could you give some advice to other marketers in that situation?
Absolutely. So I think it's an asset and also a complexity at the same time when you have access to your own first-party data, because in a field like ours that's heavily regulated, you have to be very, very deliberate and very specific about how you want to use the data. And there's a lot of guardrails internally that you need to use in order to use that data. And most importantly, you have to find a third-party safe harbor to work with on that. So generally one of the credit bureaus, we've worked with Experian and Epsilon. We also have talked with Axiom. But you also have to find somebody that you can work with that's an approved vendor that can actually take your first-party data and anonymize it, so when you're working with your vendor partners, they can exercise the match without actually having any understanding of who the customer is, because their privacy and their protection is obviously the first and foremost important thing to us.
And I'm assuming one of the things you need is a longer lead time. So talk about the lead time to be able to get in order to do this.
Yes, absolutely. So you need to, in our world, we need to be thinking 9 months in advance, and we need to be sizing and beginning to start seeking approval on the use of data 6 months in advance. There's different risk framework approvals that we have to go through. We have to have multiple data and analytics partners sign off on the data and how it's going to be used. Then we have to have a cut of the model so we actually know exactly who it's going to be in our actual targeting criteria. And then at that point, we have to work with our third party to actually anonymize the data and work with our partners. All of that has to happen in a sequence. It all has to happen very fast, but when there's so many steps in the process, it takes 90 to 180 days for everything to go through. And of course, all of us being marketers, we know that objectives can change, and we also know there can just be hiccups along the road, so we always have to be prepared for that as well.
Well, thank you for sharing your experience.
Great, thanks.